You see what's going. 35 plus 37 equals 5 equals 70. And then 70 plus 56 is 126. And you're like, yeah, I get it. And you probably would have already learned this in, I don't know, 8th grade, ninth grade. So the concept should be pretty simple to you if you're watching this video. But here's the thing. Have you ever, instead of going down, okay, have you ever looked from left to right? How does this number get to this number, and it back? How does this number go from 1 to 9 and 36? I mean, it doesn't follow a pattern, because 1 times 9 equals 9. And then 9 times 9 doesn't equal 36. It equals to 81, which 36 isn't even a factor of 81. I mean, 1 plus 8 equals 9, but 9 plus 8 doesn't equal to 36. In fact, 9 times 8 to the power of whatever doesn't equal to 36. Well, that's why you gotta look a tiny bit closer. Let's start off from this one, the easy one, 1, 2, 1. This is 1 times 2, okay? And then to get from 1 to 2. And then what is still going on? It's times 1/2 to get back to 1. Okay? So, okay, now look. 1 times what? 1 times 3. Okay? And then there's a 3 times 1. And then there's 3 times 1/3 to get back to 1. And this is times 1. So times 4. And then what is this? This times 1. Okay, so times 1 and 1/2. And then this is going to times. This is going to times 2/3 and times 1. Actually, no, times 1/4. And that is just how this pattern works. And as you can see, you might be getting frustrated. Well, there's no pattern right here. I mean, times 1 and 1/2 and times 2/3, that's not really a pattern that's helpful. Now, is it? Now, here's the cool part. So we're going to erase everything we just did, and I'm actually going to tell you what it actually is. It's actually really close to what we just did, but we're still not thinking the right direction. Okay. So, the one on the left are always 1. The first and the last digit and the last term, it's always 1. Okay? It's just, so if it's just 1 times, this is a to the power of n, and this is 1 times b to the power of n. That's it. You know that. And this one, the second row, it's always n. So if it's x plus 1 to y to the power of 5, then the second term is always going to be 5. And the last term is always going to be the same. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So not hard to follow along. Now, let's see. Starting from here, okay? So we already got this covered up. You see, this is, all of these are circled. This is where we start having gaps from here, okay? So let's see. 3 multiply 1, so 3 times 1, I'm going to have a times 1 right here, equals 3. Now 4 times 1 and 1/2 equals 6. 5 times 2 equals 10. 6 times 2 and 1/2 equals 15. And have you guys figured out what I'm trying to say? So basically, these are all factors of 1/2. So basically, this is this number multiplied by 1/2 to get this number, and this is this number multiplied by 2 times 1/2, 3 times 1/2. Sorry, 3. So 3 times 1/2, 4 times 1/2, 5 times 1/2. And this is going to be 6 times 1/2, which is multiplied by 3. So what you get from this term to this term, you just have to multiply by 3. And from this term, you just have to multiply by 3 and 1/2. Multiply by 4. And this is a lot faster than writing the whole Pascal's triangle out when you want to do something like a binomial theorem. So, no, I'm not done. That's the thing. Because that's only for this row and this row. What about the next one? What about the row starting right here? Well, we've just done this row. Now if we were to jump 1, 2, so we have a set that doesn't have a number in between, we can figure out, okay, so this is multiplied by another one. That's where it repeats, but guess what happens? This time it's not multiplying by 1. This time it's not multiplying by 1/2. It's actually multiplying by 1 and 1/3. And this one is multiplying by 1 and 2/3. And I'm multiplying by 1 and 3/3, which is exactly 2. So this one, starting from when you jump down 2, that's where it repeats. And instead of multiplying by 1/2, it's going to multiply by 1/3, which is also going to affect this side. And that's okay until you jump again. You jump twice to the 2 rows after the one that we just did, and that's where it starts following the pattern. 1 multiplied by 1/4, 2 multiplied by 1/4, 3 multiplied by 1/4, and it's gonna go all the way till till half of what number you expect it to be. So using the pattern that we just learned, let's actually do one. So let's start off with one that's not too hard. So a plus, I don't know, b. Let's do one that doesn't have a coefficient in front of a and b yet, so that we are able to follow along and check. So I don't know, which one do you want to do? Let's just do, we did 7 to the power of 7 already. Let's do to the power of 8, okay? So a to the b with the power of 8. So from what I said, the first one is always going to be 1, okay? And it's always going to be a to the n, so 8. And the b doesn't exist yet. It doesn't come out yet. And it's going to be plus, and that, remember what I said, it's always going to, next term is always going to be the n, which is going to be 8, and an a minus 1, a, so 8 minus 1 is 7. That's where b comes out. It's b to the power of 1, okay, which is b, but I'm going to write it out so it becomes clear. And here, plus, and now you're wondering, okay, what do I do? From the Pascal's triangle, it says, okay, it should be 28. But what if, let's say, we don't have the Pascal's triangle? We only have time to do this. Well, remember, we're doing the next term, so it has to be 1/2, and then the next term after that is 1/3. But how many 1/2s? That's the question. Well, it's actually, so here's the formula. It's actually the previous term. So it's this term. It's actually gonna be n. So a to the power of n minus 1. That is gonna be that is what? It's gonna be this right here. And then you're gonna be with that. And you're gonna multiply by 1 to the 1 plus 1, which is 1/2, and next 1 plus 1, and then you're gonna multiply the whole thing to the a to the 7 minus 1, b 1 plus 1, and it's gonna keep following this pattern. So basically, I know it's really confusing right now, but what I'm trying to say is, this is actually 8 minus 1, which is 7, 7 multiplied and 7 multiplied by 1/2, which is 3, which is basically 3 and 1/2. And then you're gonna multiply 3 on 1/2. Sorry, this whole thing's 3 and 1/2. You're gonna multiply the whole thing to here. And when you so basically, 3 and you're gonna multiply 3 and 1/2 to 8. Okay, this is really confusing for you guys right now, but 3 and 1/2 multiplied to 8, that makes so 3 times 8 is 25. No, it's 24, and 1/2 of 8 is 4, so it's 28. So it's 28 A6 B2. So that's the third term right there. So it's 1. So we can take out the 1. So it's a to the power of 8 plus 8 to the power of A7B plus 28 A6B squared. Sorry, I'm not used to talking this much. But first, second, third term, and we're going to keep following this pattern. So, like I said earlier, there's a total of, there's 8 terms, so if 8 is n, then there's n plus 1 terms, so there's a total of 9 terms. So I'm going to do this pattern 9 times, and that's how you, when you get the whole formula. I mean, that's where you get the whole expanded form of the whole thing. So, let's do a harder one. Just so, let me find an empty page. Just so we can better understand what just happened. Like, what did I just do? Because I feel like I haven't explained it well. So, okay, here's the empty page. Okay. Let's do actual harder one. Okay, so let's do x, or actually, yeah, 3x plus 7y. Let's do that to the power of, I don't know. Let's do an even power because we got 2 odd numbers. It doesn't really matter anyway. Let's do to the power of, I don't want to do to the power of 10 because that would be too easy. Let's do to the power of 6, okay? So basically, from what I've shown you earlier, the first term has to be 1. It's 1. And then 3x multiplied by 3x to the power of 6. And that's the first term. We're going to be plus. And it's going to be, it's going to be 6. Because here's 6. That's going to be a second term. Multiplied by, multiplied by 3x to the power of 6 minus 1, which is 5, and then 7y to the power of 1. Okay? And the third term is where we start using the formula, which is 3 minus 1. So 3, remember, it's always, sorry, it's not this, sorry. Ignore what I said earlier, it's this. So it's always this exponent. Okay, 6 minus 1 equals 5, okay? It's always this minus 1, that's the next term. This minus 5, and now you have to multiply 1/2 to it. So 5 times 1/2 is 2 and 1/2. and now you gotta multiply